While driving me to my wedding, my best friend said, "Your mother paid me to stay away from you." I turned to look at Oliver, who was gripping the steering wheel so tight his knuckles were white, while my wedding dress took up most of the car, and we were 20 minutes from the church where 200 guests were waiting. "She paid you?" He kept his eyes on the road, but I could see his jaw clenching. $5,000 when we were 18, another $10,000 when we graduated from college, $20,000 when you got engaged to Richard. My hands started shaking, and I grabbed the door handle like I might jump out. "You took money to reject me?" Oliver finally looked at me, and his eyes were red. "She said if I didn't take it and stay away, she'd destroy my father's business. He had just started his plumbing company, and your mother held the commercial lease. She could have ruined us with one phone call." I thought about all the times I'd cried to him about feeling unlovable when he rejected me after prom. All the nights I'd wondered what was wrong with me that my best friend since kindergarten couldn't see me as more. "You loved me back?" My voice cracked, and Oliver pulled into a gas station parking lot. "I've loved you since we were 7, and you shared your lunch with me because my family couldn't afford to pay for school meals. But your mother came to me the day before I was going to ask you to the prom. She said you deserved better than a plumber's son." I felt sick thinking about my mother helping me pick out my prom dress while knowing she'd already paid Oliver to reject me. "She said if I ever told you she'd sue my family for extortion, and we couldn't afford lawyers." My phone started buzzing with texts from my mother asking where I was. "She picked Richard for me, said he was from a good family with the right connections." Oliver nodded. "She brought him to that fundraiser specifically to meet you. Told everyone you were single and looking for someone appropriate. She knew I'd be there working as part of the catering staff. Made sure I had to serve drinks to you and Richard all night while you flirted." I remembered that night. Oliver had seemed so cold and distant. "I thought you didn't care. I thought you were happy for me." He turned off the car engine. "Happy?" I went home and punched a hole in my wall. My dad asked what was wrong, and I couldn't even tell him because your mother had us both trapped. She owned the building his business operated. One word from her, and we'd lose everything. The wedding was supposed to start in 15 minutes. "Why are you telling me now?" Oliver looked at me in my wedding dress that cost more than his family made in 6 months. "Because your mother made a mistake. She got greedy. She came to me last week with a contract, $50,000 to move to another state after your wedding. She wanted me gone permanently, but she put it in writing this time. All of it. The payments, the threats, the plan to separate us." He pulled out a folded document from his pocket. "She was so confident I'd sign it. She admitted everything. How she'd been planning this since we were kids. How did she know we'd end up together if she didn't intervene? How you weren't allowed to marry beneath your social status." I read the contract, and there it was in black and white. My mother's signature, her terms. She admitted manipulation of my entire romantic life. She even brags in the contract about how she successfully matched you with Richard. Says his family's connection to the governor will help your father's business, and that's worth more than your happiness. My phone rang, and it was Richard. "Where are you? Your mother is going crazy. The ceremony is starting." I hung up without answering. "She stole my life. She stole our life." Oliver nodded. "She stole 12 years from us. We could have been married by now, could have had kids. Instead, you're about to marry someone you don't love because your mother decided I wasn't rich enough." I thought about Richard, who was nice enough, but for whom I felt nothing, who my mother had pushed on me relentlessly, who'd proposed in front of both our families at a restaurant my mother had chosen. "Drive." Oliver looked confused. "Where? The church is that way." I pulled off my veil and threw it in the back seat. "I don't care where, just drive." We drove for 3 hours while my phone exploded with calls and texts. My mother, Richard, the wedding planner, the priest. 200 guests were wondering where the bride was. Finally, my mother's text came through. "If you don't come back right now, I'm cutting you off. No inheritance, no trust fund, nothing." I showed Oliver, and he pulled over again. "I can't let you lose everything for me. I'm still just a plumber's son. I can't give you the life you're used to." I looked at him and realized my mother had won, even if I knew the truth. She'd made him believe he was worthless. What life? The life where my mother controls everything? Where does she pick my husband? Like she's breeding horses. Where does she pay people to reject me? He was quiet for a long time. "I make $40,000 a year. Your wedding dress costs more than that." I started laughing and couldn't stop. "This dress that I didn't even pick, that my mother chose because Richard's mother would approve? You think I care about this dress?" I grabbed the zipper and pulled it down, stepping out of the dress right there on the side of the highway in my slip. "There. Now it's not worth more than your salary." Full story on channel. Link below.